Attack on Titan has been on fire lately. I have been enjoying this second season of Attack on Titan so far, and I was not expecting that ending cliffhanger that we got. Ymir. Ymir is a Titan shifter, just like Eren and just like Annie. Now, I had no idea that Ymir was actually going to turn out to be a Titan shifter as we were going through season 2 of Attack on Titan. Throughout all of Attack on Titan, I have developed theories, with Eren being able to transform into a Titan. I have my own theories about who the Armored Titan might be and who the Colossal Titan might be, but I actually had no idea that we were actually going to get the reveal of another Titan shifter amongst the scouting regiment, similar to Eren, who's just been hiding this whole time and then turned into a Titan right at the very end. And I think it's very interesting too because I just looked at that scene of her transforming, and I just gotta say, the animation that went into her transformation scene was absolutely awesome. Getting to see the skeleton and then all of the muscles and skin form around it, that is just awesome to me. I love that sequence so much. It's very similar to how Eren transformed in the teaser trailers leading up to season 2, where you just kind of see it all form around Eren. It's just a very cool sequence, but looking at the Titan form, it seems like very similar to Reiner's backstory slash flashback we kind of got within this episode. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but I just want to start right at the beginning, go through the events of this episode, and just talk about it, because what I'm loving about Attack on Titan Season 2 is that we are getting answers to a lot of questions so far, but with every answer, we're kind of getting 2 more questions that go along with it. And I think that's what makes this series very enjoyable for a lot of people, because it adds to the mystery, it adds to us coming back wanting more, and each episode provides more and more content to where we're like, all right, we're putting pieces of the puzzle together, but then there's like this whole other section that's kind of like coming into the light, and we're like, shit, we still have more that we still have to learn. So I'm really enjoying second season of Attack on Titan. But I think what's interesting too is that the format of season 2 has been a lot different than season 1. We're getting a lot of time jumps back and forth between like 2 hours later, 2 hours earlier, 12 hours earlier. So I'm kind of liking that they're kind of going back and forth, kind of showing certain events, how they unfolded, because episode 3 kind of ended with Reiner walking in on Ymir and being kind of like angry with her and kind of suspecting her of something. And we kind of didn't know what that was. But in this episode, we get the answer, and it turns out that Ymir was able to read this can called, and it had herring in it, but Reiner's looking at it and it's got this unknown language that he's like, how the hell were you able to read this? And right there, Reiner's like, oh, this is putting up red flags right now, because it's like, why is Ymir so interesting right now? Why is she able to read this canned food when no one else is able to? We even got that hint with Gelger, I think his name was too, when he was like looking at the booze. He's like, what type of booze is this? I can't even read this. So it's very odd that they have these food rations within this abandoned castle that no one can read the language of it. So it kind of adds to the mystery and lore of Attack on Titan. It kind of like has to predate the walls in a way, because if there's this language within the walls that's lost to time with the people within the walls, there has to be a language, back in time, back in maybe even another place in the world where this originates from. So I think that adds to the mystery and overall cool factor of what's going on within Attack on Titan right now. But of course, everything with Reiner and Ymir has to be put on hold, because right now Titans are showing up, and I love how the Beast Titan is just out in the distance watching this all unfold, and he's just on top of the wall like admiring his work, looking at all of his little minions going in and kind of like trying to kill everyone at the abandoned castle. And I love how all 4 of the scouting crew that is in charge of watching over like Krista, Ymir, Connie, Reiner, and Patolt, they're kind of just watching them over, and they're just going straight into battle. They're trying to do a lot of work against these Titans, because they have a lot that they have to kill, and I honestly think they put up a great fight. And unfortunately, as you go throughout the entire episode, all of them die, which it really does suck, because Nanaba, I think that's what her name was, she was probably my favorite new character that got introduced this season that has gotten a bigger role, and it really, really sucks that she had to actually die within this episode. And what I actually am really appreciative about Attack on Titan is that all of these badass characters, once they're actually at death's door, it kind of just like melts away that facade, that like heroic nature that the scout regiment has, and they just become normal people, because sure, they're very tough and heroic when they have their 3D maneuver gear, but once they're in the clutches of a Titan and they know they're about to die and they know they're about to be devoured, all of that just goes away, and it goes back to they are just pure humans just scared to die. And even with Nanaba, crying out, saying like, Father, no, and just all this stuff, it really humanizes a lot of these characters, and it gives them that type of characteristic to where it's like, yes, these are humans, they do have emotions, and they're afraid of death, which I really like throughout this episode. But then we also have all of the smaller Titans coming in. This whole sequence right here with Connie, Reiner, Bertolt just trying to keep the Titans, the small Titans, coming up the stairs. When Reiner opens that door and sees the Titan coming up the stairs, that is pure nightmare fuel. I was like, holy crap. And then he just closes the door, it starts to come in, and this is where that flashback kicks in too, which I have a lot of questions about that. It's not really gives us enough to look at, but we know that Bertolt was with him there, and it was another childhood friend that probably Bertolt and Reiner knew that got eaten by a Titan. And what's interesting to note is that this Titan form looks very similar to the transformation that Ymir went through. So I have a lot of questions with that as well, and I feel like we're going to be getting some answers in the upcoming episodes now that Ymir has shown everyone that yes, she is a Titan shifter. But it was also interesting too because all of them are fighting this Titan. You know, they bring out the cannon down the stairs, they take out all these Titans, and then another one comes in and bites Reiner. And right there, I kind of thought that Reiner was actually going to die. And then I was like kind of upset too because I'm like, Reiner's getting a lot of shine in these episodes, and for him to just die would actually really, really suck. But then he just actually lifts up the Titan, which I don't know how strong Reiner is, but the fact that he was actually able to hold on to this Titan, carry him around his back fireman style, and then just throw him out the window with Connie's help trying to, you know, unlock his jaw so that way he would let go of his arm. I thought that was really cool. And there's some interesting dialogue going back and forth between like Ymir with Krista, Reiner, and Bertolt. And I love how they bring back the gag of how Reiner wants to marry Krista whenever she's like being so motherly and is actually taking care of Reiner. And he's just like, I want to marry this woman. I'm like, Reiner, you are awesome. Like, I honestly thought that was really, really funny and just overall cool. And just everything within this episode was very action-packed. And I know a lot of people have probably been saying that it's kind of been slow building, but I like the fact that we're actually getting some story points and just getting some story progression. We don't need action all the time. And I like it how they're actually giving us answers to questions, and we're just going back and forth, you know, with these side characters, learning more about them, and then just watching them trying to figure out, you know, how these Titans are getting into wall rows and just everything going on. Because as we probably can figure out, no Titans are actually getting through a breach within the wall, and these are probably that were people within wall rows that got transformed into Titans by the Beast Titan, and then the Beast Titan has left right now, and we're just left on that cliffhanger of Ymir saying her last words to Krista, basically saying to live your life the way you want to live it, and then her just heroically jumping down with the Titans with Connie's knife, transforming into a Titan. And that is basically the end of the episode. And I'm like, I want the next episode right now. So overall, I think this episode was very, very good. Got a lot of action within this episode. It was very sad to see that Nanaba ended up dying along with the 3 other scout members that ended up like sacrificing their lives to keep Connie and the whole crew alive. And I'm just really looking forward to what answers we're going to be getting with Ymir, because right now Ymir is very interesting to me, and I want to learn how the hell she can turn into a Titan, and getting the origin of her character I think is very needed right now. So guys, what are your thoughts on Attack on Titan Season 2, Episode 4, and Season 2 overall? Do you like the new sequence of it, like time jumping, and then the whole revelations of Ymir within this episode? If you guys are manga readers, you guys probably already know the events that are unfolding, but for all those that are just watching the anime, you guys are probably like, what the hell is going on? And I am right there with you. So leave your thoughts in the comments below about what you think about this episode, and then if you guys feel like subscribing and just talking about Attack on Titan as it's coming out week to week, feel free to do so. I would love to talk with you guys and just speculate back and forth, just throwing our theories out there and just overall enjoying this ride that is Attack on Titan. I am very looking forward to the next episode, episode 5, which will be episode 30 of Attack on Titan next week. I am really looking forward to that. So until my review of that episode next week, I'll talk with you guys later. All right, guys, see you later.